Maybe we'll learn something.
Secondly, I'd emailed the board on Friday, but just to remind you that on last Tuesday, County Engineer Eric Weatherly participated in a conference call with some Dare County towns and the Dare County manager. And it kind of surprised him that it involved actually a discussion about the depletion of sand resources along the Dare County beaches that have been utilized and relied upon for beach nourishment projects in Dare County, and that they were now starting to look north to the sand resources that might exist off of Corolla and Corova Beach. And so they were talking about a 2-year study and a grant application process. It would be a $2 million study cost. The grant would be for $1 million to be matched by $1 million from not only the Dare County communities, but they're asking for Currituck County's participation in that as well. But the highlight from Eric Weatherly's notes, as I forwarded to the board, was that the sand that exists in the Dare County borough areas maybe will last the towns for projects this year and in 2027. They need to find more sand. The consulting engineer wants to look at areas off of Currituck County. They're looking at 4 areas off of Currituck County that might help Kitty Hawk, Kill Devil Hills, and Duck. In the future, they maybe will expand Area A. That borough Area A is a site just off of Kill Devil Hills, or look up north off Currituck, and that there's enough sand resources in borough Area A, that's that part off of Kill Devil Hills, for this year's project and 2027. As I mentioned to you in my email, it also kind of raises a question as to the long-term sustainability of beach nourishment as a way to protect our coastline and a way to protect infrastructure along the coastline if, after several cycles of beach nourishment projects, now Dare County beaches find themselves with a depleted sand resource apparently, and they're looking to their neighbors, us to the north, for further sand resources. So this sand resource is in state waters, so as things exist now under the law, anybody would have access and rights to that sand. So there's something. I'm sorry?
Can they take it out?
That's different. So I wanted the board to be aware of that. This is certainly something we need to stay on top of, and understand that this may cause a little bit of difference in interest, of course, between Currituck and our Dare County neighbors. But
So they've been nourishment about every 4 or 5 years. Have they been? Every 6 years they've been going through this.
And that's a storm has come along and taken out sand. I think they've been able to do with some FEMA reimbursement, some additional.
But I mean, but the sand is not staying put in place.
I know this year's project, at least as memory serves me, was $119 million for the project this year in Dare County.
Wow.
Running a cost of approximately anywhere from $2 to $3.5 million per mile. So Currituck County has 23 miles. I'll let everyone do their own math. I think one of the things that occurred to me in listening to that is how sustainable is that, and I'll use borrowing of the sand from the ocean, how sustainable is that really? And the answer I think clearly is it's not very sustainable. Mm-hmm. I know when I got your email and after discussions with you, I did speak to Bobby Hanig, and he had not heard of that report. He was very concerned. Actually, he kind of laughed at the mere thought of going north to Currituck County to get sand for for Dare County, and to the effect of, well, that's not going to happen. But I would suggest that we not assume that that's going to be, applied, and anything that we can do to ensure that sand from offshore of one county can't be removed without some form of approval by that county, I would strongly suggest that ounce of prevention versus trying to play catch up. And this may also be another opportunity, as I've said before, beach nourishment, the way we're doing it it's a Band-Aid approach, and it's something that has to be redone probably every 4 years, but it's milked for 6. We need to open up the door to other discussion about a more permanent fix or a more permanent solution to impact on the beach. Bob and I have talked at length over the possibility of some form of structure. I know the Army Corps of Engineers has done research and analysis on that, something that it doesn't eliminate wave action, but it helps take some of the kick out of long-term impact from storms. There's a lot of things that would be of a benefit of that. Number one, it's if it's not a permanent, it's pretty darn close to a permanent fix, number one. Number two, it would open up ecotourism. Now we've got structures that we could actually go scuba diving on, for example, or could, for fishing, for example. So I think, now's a classic time that I think we should, potentially start wading into those waters and see what it would take from a state perspective. Because currently, as I understand it, it's against statute for any municipality to build or county to do something on the beach or off the beach.
That's correct.
I think now's the time. Anyway,
I would agree with that.
my 2 cents.
Well, the question we have to ask about Currituck County, what would be the benefit of doing a study?
Well, first of all, we would not need to spend a penny, and we would be able to derive the results as a public record. So that is something that we can feel comfortable about, and if the Dare County communities want to proceed forward, we can wait for the study to be produced and receive a copy of it.
And even with the Army Corps, we can get their study. They even said that that's a copy of information that's available too.
And again, as the board knows, we were now in our 3rd year of a 3-year study. So the board has taken a cautious approach and wants to see what the science is actually on the Currituck County beaches to see if Currituck indeed has a problem that needs to be addressed, and if so, how.
The other thing I wanted to bring up, and I'm sure Bob, you've seen this as well, is I personally have gotten a whole bunch of emails that ironically are identically worded, and it has to do with concerns of the beach and some of the areas that were impacted by the nor'easter that we had about a month ago now.
I think we all have, yeah.
2 weeks in a row of being at the beach, there has been significant replacement of that sand, just the way we've been told by the engineers that have been doing our analysis. A lot of the sand is already back on the beach, and you can see, I know off of Whalehead, that sandbar is moving ashore. So, and again, I would encourage those that are concerned or are from out of town and don't understand the dynamic, storms take the sand, it dumps it into the sandbox, and then over time it moves it all back in. So I with the amount of recovery that I've already seen, I think we're going to be fine. So.
It's significant. You can see it moving in. Fair weather waves push that sand right back up again. So it takes a little while for the dune to rebuild, obviously. But we've seen that. So I was just showing the board prior to the meeting pictures from the last nor'easter we had, I guess about 4 years ago, and it exposed old steps and walkways that were 10 or 15 feet in some cases below the existing one, and that's where the dune used to be. And so it's not uncommon, obviously, for that dune line to shift, move up and down. And there's going to be some areas that are impacted, but as the manager said, we're taking a cautious approach to it and doing the beach nourishment study. And to follow up just for a moment on that email chain we've got that was just a copy and paste. We can't take $18 million of occupancy tax and just use it on that. There's lots of other projects that funds that people enjoy, like the park in Corolla, the Whalehead Club, the Boat Museum, the Greenway that we built out there, numerous other projects that affect tourism in this county. 30% of it has to go towards just advertising to get towards into the county. So there is a path forward in the future. When we get there, we'll explore those options and deal with it then.
That's all I have.
That too, yeah, okay. Thank you, sir. Okay.